So it seems like a serious topic. It is. It's a special day. It is. And I'm grateful for everyone that came because I know there's a lot going on in Denver, a lot of other important places to be, other ways to show your solidarity. But to begin this important talk with so much weight, so much intensity, I have to start, as I often do, with a ridiculous story about my life. So, I didn't have allergies growing up. And for most of my adult life, I have not had environmental allergies. And, when I moved to Denver, which has only been a couple years now, I remember the first spring, there was like a lot of coughing and kind of wheezing, and I think I got sick, and then I thought, I kind of itchy, something's different, is this sick or not sick? And then this spring came. And first I got poison ivy, which was kind of a drag, and then something happened, like it didn't go away. I mean, it went away, but something else continued, like my throat was sore, and my nose was dripping, and my body was itching. I mean, this is really attractive, right? It's a good place to start. And I had never had this experience before. I didn't feel sick, right? Like I didn't have a fever, and I didn't feel like I had a cold. And it just kind of kept getting worse. And I remember laying in the backyard playing a card game with my son yesterday in a billowy blanket of cottonwood down and pollen. And I was thinking, I wonder if I have a pollen allergy. And when I went to bed last night, I noticed that my body was on fire, and that my throat was swollen, and that my nose was dripping. This was at 12 o'clock. And then at 1 o'clock, I noticed it was getting worse. And at 2 o'clock, I started to think, it's very difficult to sleep like this. And I don't think I have the right medication for whatever this is. And so, you do whatever, supposed mystical types do, and I said Om Mani Padme Hum 108,000 times, and I went to a happy place, and then it was 3 o'clock, and then I went to another happy place, which was the internet, in the basement where it was cooler, and I started to Google seasonal allergies, and I was like check, and then at 3:45, I was starting to compare the consumer reports on all the drugs that I was so excited to purchase in the morning. And then at 5 o'clock, I started to think, I don't know that I've ever gone a whole night without having any sleep at all. And at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I drifted off for an hour. And then I woke up at 8. But something interesting happened in that very long night. I try not to think of work because I try to be a good example for people I tell, they should do certain things, certain ways, But I did think about work. I thought about the topic of solidarity. And something strange occurred to me as morning came. And I thought, wow, what a difficult night this was, to be so uncomfortable, to have no sleep, and to hit that moment where I realized I wasn't waiting for sleep anymore. I was just waiting for the day to begin. And then I thought about how small that suffering is. I thought about people like John Newton and Abraham Lincoln, who helped to put an end to slavery. What a long night that was for them. And what about all those people in slavery? You want to talk about a long night? when you'll see your family, when you get to choose what you eat, what you do with your time, where you're allowed to sleep. That's a long night. Oh, I started Googling. I thought about Harry Hay, who founded the first national gay rights organization. What a long night he went through. And Harvey Milk and Bayard Rustin. I thought about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. What a long night they are still going through to end racial injustice. I thought about Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Clay Stanton, who formed the National Women's Suffrage Association. How long did they wait? What did they endure? And what solidarity did they require to finally manifest a voice and a change so that we could all live differently? And it goes on. I thought about Nona Brooks and Fanny James in the late 1800s, saying that something in the traditional church wasn't fitting, didn't seem to reflect God as they understood it. And though they were breaking free, though they were women in a society that still doubted their voice, they pioneered a path that thousands upon thousands would follow to personal freedom. I thought about Che Guevara and Mother Teresa, Lech Walesa and Wangari Maathai, the woman from Tanzania who fought for the reforestation of Eastern Africa. I thought of Nelson Mandela, I thought of Gandhi, and I thought again and again and again of all these people who, you might say, fathered, men and women who fathered movements that changed the world. But what they had in common, despite all these different views and beliefs and desires, was that people came together around them, behind them, solidarity. There were people who folded letters and stuffed envelopes. There were people who marched in the streets and went to jail. There were people who didn't ask when they would be comfortable, when they would be enlightened, when they would get the freshest produce. They were people asking, when would the world be free? And what do I need to do? That's solidarity. Solidarity is more than sharing a belief. It is standing behind it. So that when you hear the comments at your dinner party, when you read the label of the clothes you buy, you stop and you ask, how does this express who I really am? My spiritual path, what I say I stand behind. Or am I too tired today? Or will I do it next time? Or will I wait for someone else? And then maybe, if it's easy, I'll sign the petition. The path of an engaged spirituality is the path of solidarity. Not only behind all these different causes, but behind the very beliefs that we espouse here. God as oneness. God as the only thing that is real, and in that we find ourselves connected, inspired, empowered, and enduring. A final thought on this topic, a very interesting little trick in the world of awakening. You see, profound awakening, as we all believe and know and read, is coming to this place where we are free of identity, free of ego and attachment to how we want things to be and who we think we are and how we think the world should treat us. We move to this place where we shed all that we are not, and we find this pure, empty vastness. And that's easier said than done, isn't it? To just wake up and be no one. So here's a little secret. It's a back door. Little by little, just start to be everyone. Interesting. It will take you to the same place. Little by little, be the person sitting behind you, beside you, in front of you. Be the person that upsets you on the radio. Be the person that disturbs you on the street. Expand your love to include more and more and more. And what you will find one day, when you cross the threshold and include everyone and everything without exception, you will discover that you've fallen into the place where there is no one at all. It's all spirit. It's all one being expressing itself in 7 billion different ways, and none of them are perfect, and none of them are right, and none of them are complete. But there's a threshold that you're going to get to as you're asked to include those you don't like and those you don't agree with, and your ego will say, protect me. Defend me, my culture, my religion, my country. The rest of them can go. Because if you don't fight for it, who will? It's a trick. It's a trick. Because your greatest resilience and your greatest capacity to honor who you are and your uniqueness comes by letting it go. And by affirming the need for love in all, absolutely all. And when we think of the atrocities in this world, tragedies like what we've heard about in Orlando, we don't just pray for the families. We pray more for the people who actually thought that was a good idea. God bless those people. God, love those people. Hold them in your heart. Hold them. Hold them closer to you than anyone you already love, because those people don't yet know love. No one commits a crime like that. No one hates like that if they know love. And who will teach them? You. They're not getting it where they're going. That's obvious. And so we hear the call to imagine a new world where we love endlessly and without exclusion. So let's close our eyes for a moment and feel the love inside ourselves for the things we need, for the people we enjoy, for the places that heal us. Feel your solidarity for what matters most to you, and then take a breath and ask yourself, can I extend this? Can I extend my love, who I am, until I reflect the very spirit from which I come, until I feel myself rooted in each and every facet of this complicated world? Can I be in solidarity with spirit, with life, with love, and not wait till I feel like it, and not wait till it's easy, but take the path of those who've created the changes that we celebrate today, and simply begin as a choice from the heart of hearts to love.